tonight, Friday, and then 10:30 for Saturday. All good at the back, cameras ready to roll. So we'll kick off with Olivia from the Premier League.
Hi, Mikel.
Hello.
Just team news ahead of the weekend. Aaron Ramsdale's a question mark, and maybe Martin Odegaard as well.
Those two, they've been assessed. We will see more tomorrow. Hopefully they will be available to train with the team. Unfortunately with Alex, still not the case. He's missed 2 games and he hasn't been able to train with the team yet.
We've got to talk about the transfer window. There was no secret that you were interested in a midfielder. Are you disappointed that you didn't get a midfielder over the line?
No, listen, we had a lot of things still to do in the squad. You see the amount of departures comparing to the players that we have recruited. The club has done again a phenomenal job and put everything on the table to try to bring the players and in the profiles that we wanted. We've done business pretty early, but unfortunately in the last 72 hours, Thomas got injured in the same place that he got injured last time, and then Mo has a long-term injury. And then we had to react in the market, and we tried, but at the end of the day we have to bring the player that we feel is the right player for the team and as well for the club, and we didn't manage to do that.
And do you think your squad now, the window's closed, has enough depth in it to compete at both the Premier League and Europa League?
It's the team that we have, and for me it's the best squad and the best players that I have available. There is nothing else we can do. We have an academy as well that we have to use and try to utilize the players the best possible way.
Man United Arsenal, one of the most iconic fixtures in Premier League history. Just first of all, what are your memories of playing in this fixture, or just your memories of the fixture over the years?
Yeah, they probably started a bit when I was younger, watching it on TV and watching that rivalry and those special games between the two teams. Obviously playing as a player, winning obviously are beautiful feeling, and yeah, a magnificent stadium to go there and be us again as a team.
Do you think we've seen these fixtures have everything over the years? Do you think it still has the same edge?
I don't know. I think there've been moments where I think the history and all the media and everything that was talking about, and a special rivalry between certain players built certain momentum into this, but I think in England it doesn't get much better than that.
And just finally, obviously you know from the start of last season how difficult it was for Arsenal at the start of last season. Man United went through the similar sort of phase at the start of this season, but Erik Ten Hag seems to have turned it around, 1-3 on the bounce. Were you impressed by how quickly he seems to have done that?
Well, when you look at the squad that they have, the players that they signed, the amount of money they have spent in the market, I'm not surprised they're going to win a lot of football matches. And Manchester United history tells you that this is going to happen. So it's another big rival. We know that, and we need to compete with them.
Thank you very much.
James from Sky.
Hi, Mikel.
Hello.
It seems that the club were pushing quite hard to bring in a midfielder yesterday. What was your take on the way things played out in the end?
We push to strengthen the team and bring the best possible people and players into this football club, and we have managed to a certain level, and then we have our limitation. Time was a big limitation with what happens in the last 72 hours in our midfield, and we tried to act, but we didn't find the right player.
I think there's a slight disappointment from some Arsenal fans, but how important was it not to panic and make a signing just for the sake of making one?
I think we have learned a lot from that, and look, still the players that we have to get out. We only have to bring top talent, top quality people through that door, and be very disciplined. And in those moments, you can make huge mistakes that can cost the club and the team a lot. Not in the near future, but maybe a little bit ahead, and we want to avoid that as much as possible.
And you said on Wednesday night, a little bit short in midfield. How do you assess the options you have now? Potentially more opportunities for Sambi Lokonga and potentially Vieira as well.
Believe more on the players that we have, look after them better, give them confidence, and they have the ability to do it, and that's what we'll do.
Do you see a trip to Old Trafford on Sunday being the biggest test that this side has faced so far this season?
The test in the Premier League is every single week, every opponent that you played. You see it in any game that is being played this weekend, apart of 1 or 2, and I don't expect anything different there.
And finally for me, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang has confirmed his move to Chelsea. What do you make of his return to the Premier League, and what sort of impact do you think he'll have at Chelsea?
Well, I'm sure if he's made that decision, it's because he wants to change again and find the best possible move for his future. And he's been here. We wish him the best of luck.
George from BBC.
Thanks, Dan. Mikel, hello. Zinchenko, do you think he'll be in the squad for Sunday after missing the last 2 games?
Again, after missing 2 games and not being able to be ready yet to train with the team, unfortunately, that's the situation that we have.
Last season, you lost Thomas Partey and Kieran Tierney, and you sort of had a few defeats after that. Do you think this squad is more capable of handling losing players, significant players, now this summer?
Well, I hope we do. I hope we can play still really well with many other players, and as well, just to put a finger on something, to lose a football match is not something that I do to analyse a performance.
You, by the looks of it, put a lot of planning into transfers and the players you want and identifying the players you want. Do you think because you've got your business done early, Arsenal fans are probably going to not have so many deadline days going forward, deadline day moves going forward in the future?
No, because yesterday we could have done something if it was the right player, the right deal, and something we could afford. Because sometimes you have to react to something that happens. We would have done that. That was yesterday a real possibility, and we tried. But then we kept the discipline as well to say it has to be the right player for the team and for the club.
What was your final conversation with Hector Bellerin after he's left? Can you just give us some insight into what you said to him and wish him well?
Yeah, he called me really late last night, and that was more a conversation like the conversation we used to have when we were teammates and really good friends. Take the coaching and the player situation a little bit away and get back into that relationship as well. I love the kid. I love what he's done for the club. He's someone that I really have a strong feelings about him, and I wish him, because I know it's one of his dreams to play there. Hopefully he can fulfill his dream and get back his career where he can, because he's still very young and has a lot to do.
Morale must be very good. 2 wins, but significant wins coming from behind. Big sides, they go and win at Old Trafford though, don't they? So what would it mean to do that for you and this team? What would it do for the morale of the team if you can win there?
That's not something new. We've done it. We have to do it again, and we have to believe from today, from yesterday, straight after the game, that we are capable of going there, play our way and win the match.
Simon?
Mikel, have you got a time frame on how long El Nene and Partey will be out now?
No, with Mo probably it's a little bit easier, and we are talking months. With Thomas, hopefully we are talking weeks or even shorter than that, I hope.
And just with Thomas, he's obviously had a few injuries since he came to the Premier League and adapting to that intensity. Going forward, do you think the club might have to try and manage him in a different way, or do you think he's just been unlucky?
We have tried to manage him. A lot has happened since he joined, obviously, and we are trying the best possible way to find the reasons why that happens. But unfortunately, the body and the mind are too difficult sometimes to understand and put a finger on a single thing to try to prevent something happening. But the attitude of the player is there. His willingness is really disappointed again, obviously, as you can imagine, and the team needs him, so we need him back.
Okay, last couple in the live section. Firstly, James.
Hi, Mikel. I think Hector is the 6th player in recent years to have left, either through contract cancellation or, in this case, a free transfer. How important is it you start getting fees for these players and maybe put a stop to a culture where it sort of seems like clubs will wait for you to rip up a player's contract?
I always say that the market doesn't lie. When a player comes and says that I have to do that and I am here and I am there, it's very simple. Go on the market and the other teams, the other coaches, they're going to tell you how good you are, what your value is, what you've done. And we have to try to obviously get everything we can get done, and sometimes you have to get the right balance. And hopefully we're going to be in a very different position very soon.
Hi Mikel. 5 wins from 5 has been such a good August for you, especially compared to last year. You must feel so proud that your process is developing and working going forward.
Especially, obviously, the feeling and the energy that is around the club. the way the team is playing, the team is performing, and at the end of the day, the icing on the cake is winning football matches. That's the only reason why we are here. We have to continue to do that. Keep doing the simple things right and maintain the energy levels and the belief and enthusiasm that we have, and keep playing well.
How does it mean to be doing that with such a young squad as well?
Very fulfilling, because when you see a player 6 months ago, when you review certain things with a player a year ago, sometimes you cannot believe how much they've grown in a year's time. But when you have huge talent, hungry personalities, and people who love what they do, normally good things happen.
Quick one for James.
Okay, when you were a player here at Arsenal, the team never won a Premier League game at Old Trafford, and we used to talk to Arsenal a lot about a kind of psychological issue about going up there and playing them. You've obviously won there a couple of years ago. Do you sort of feel that's no longer an issue now that you've worked through that as a club?
I don't think so, and obviously we have gone through that. We didn't win Stamford Bridge as well for 20 or something years, and this and that. We need to believe that you go there and you play the way you want to play, and you can win the football match. We've done it, and that's the belief that we have.
I'll just ask you one about Lisandro Martinez. He was a player Arsenal were linked with before he went to United. How close did that one come?
We talk about the players that we have here.
Were you surprised by the criticism that he received, though, Martinez? Because, I mean, Jamie Carragher's already said he can't play in the back four in the Premier League, and, you know, because of his height, but he seems to have started very well, though.
I think every player gets criticism, sometimes positive, sometimes negative.
Thanks, James. Well, that's the end of the live section.